What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Millennials Talk Podcast. I'm Kel.
Maegan.
It's Jay.
And you already know what we're here to do. So, how y'all been feeling? What's been going on? What's the vibe?
I'm feeling really good. I actually want to ask this question.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask, tell me if I fumbled the bag with this one. So I'm at work yesterday, and I'm in Chick-fil-A line, long line. So I get my food, and the guy behind me, real cute, real tall, just like I like. And he's at the next register. So I'm ordering my food, I don't get my food, but I go to the waiting line next.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the waiting line. It's like he zones in on me. And he starts the conversation. Mm-hmm. Now, it looks like he's into tech, like he came to fix the computers at the hospital or whatever. But his coworker was standing right there too. His coworker looked like real annoyed. Tell me if I fumble or if his coworker cock blocked, because I need to know.
Okay, let's see.
So he had a conversation, and it was like a real quick conversation. I'm like, what did he order? Because his order was up within like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Okay.
So he's like, what do you do? Oh, I work in the lab. What do you do in the lab? So I'm telling him, he's like, oh, yeah, I used to do that 2 years ago. And he starts talking about Henry Ford versus the hospital that I work at. And I'm like, a lot of people go to Henry Ford from our lab. And he's like, wow, are you serious? And they call his name.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed his food. He came back towards me, right? And I was really fighting myself, but I was going to ask for his number.
Okay.
His coworker was like, come on, bro, we got to go. And he's like, oh, okay, well, nice talking to you. Should I have asked for the number before, or would that have been too forward, or did his coworker really cock block the man that could possibly be my husband?
You answer first.
Oh, shit. He put it on me. Oh, that's great.
I want to know.
Because
I'm ready to get back out there and date. And I was like, damn,
I think two things can be true.
Okay.
You know, I do think that, because I don't know how the brother acted like outside of that context. So maybe the coworker knew something that maybe parties just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think like in that, the worst thing that can happen is a no. That's all been my philosophy.
Okay.
So, you know, I think it's definitely just shooting that shot and just seeing. So I do think, you know, you might have to take that fumble bag and take it back to the locker room.
I shot it quicker. Because I was waiting.
Yeah, a little bit. Not so much quicker. I think even in that situation.
Okay, hold up, love.
Yeah, like with the cop, but I think it could have happened, you know, even in its own right. Like, hey, you know, well, before you leave, this, that, and the third. Whatever, and that's, you know, on him. But I think definitely, like, those type of situations be nice and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't think you did nothing, you know, categorically wrong, because I think, in essence, you speaking in general and, like, not being rude, being polite, stuff, that already, to me, is the dub. So, like, it's a win from Jump Street. A lot of times, it could be a very rude interaction. So.
True. I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, now the question, I'll say this and then I want to ask you a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it is a fumble.
Oh, damn.
For sure. Think I fumbled for real, okay.
But not,
I gave you grace. I gave you grace.
No, but okay, my case. Now, did you fumble because, now this is where I get in a little quick question.
Okay.
Do you think, it's not about not being quick, but did you second guess yourself because you're a woman asking a man for his phone number?
It's what I'm used to. I'm used to, okay, we have this little quick conversation. Like, he's talking a lot. I didn't get a chance to ask him exactly what he does.
Okay.
And it was only 2 minutes. When I say 2 minutes, it was 2 minutes. Because, like, I think he only ordered some fries or something from Chick-fil-A.
Okay. Because
it was like 5 nurses, 2 security guards, and us in the back. So I'm like, why did he get his food first before everybody? He was last in the order.
Oh, because he got some fries.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
So, with that being said, I would have definitely given that man my number if I would have been able to, you know, talk to him more. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, actually have a conversation. I thought we had time. I did.
I mean, it was smooth. I feel like, but talking too much is low-key like a red flag. I'm not gonna lie. Like, damn.
It was interesting though.
But you ain't said nothing.
I tried.
But he ain't even give you the leeway to be like, so how's your day?
I mean, I guess in 2 minutes, I mean, you know, depending on what's going on. I can see it, you know, because 2 minutes is quick for a lot, like quicker than people think.
Really?
Yeah, it's very quick. Especially in conversation.
Was this 2
In
minutes?
conversation? We just talked for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's very quick.
Okay, so I'll take the L. How y'all feeling? I take the L.
Yeah. Life is good as of this moment. Like, trying to be just open, excited for just new things, new endeavors, stuff like that.
Exactly.
And I don't know, like I can't really pinpoint on nothing like of importance going on. I don't want to see like my life boring, nothing like that. But it's just like right now, it's just in that phase of just like
peace.
Yeah, like
every day.
You know, yeah,
Routine.
like Xing yourself a BS more and more every day. That's it.
I feel like I've been doing a lot lately, and I'm trying to wind down because it's been back to back shit. But no, overall, I kind of agree. I feel like I'm in a spicy but boring part of my life, like being 29 and just trying to get like stuff back on track. Like we talked about, working out and stuff like that. So just really trying to keep this routine. The fast is over, all that stuff. So that's really it. Nothing like too crazy right now. I'm jealous because you're going to Las Vegas. I want to travel.
What hotel you in?
It's called the Sahara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's like off the strip, but it gives you like a shuttle access to it and stuff like that. So it's be cool. Nice little trip. I don't want to like say too much, but there's some fun stuff that's going on, and like we got different reservations, restaurants,
excursions.
Not even really. Like it's kind of like we're gonna do like impulsive excursions.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff to do in Vegas anyway, but like off the strip.
Yeah, we're doing
excursion off the strip.
Yeah, you're like in the desert. You can do like ATV and stuff like that. Off the strip, it's like I can't really say off the strip, but like art district. We big museum people, so we going to 2 immersive museums, stuff like that. We going to an adult playground, so it's called Area 15.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's Area 15. So it's like
in Las Vegas too.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that type of stuff.
Wait, how many times you been?
This would be my 4th time.
Yeah, I only been.
But this is my first time going like as an adult.
Millennial vision trip?
Yeah. I'm down with that. And I did it when I was 21, so that's years.
Yeah, I haven't been at all since I was 21, so it's been cool. But we always travel. So like last year we went to a bunch of places and stuff like that. We got tickets to Chris Brown, so we're excited for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to.
Yeah, so we're excited for that. And I'm getting the Kendrick concert tickets, so that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'm really
I'm supposed to be going to Tamar Braxton concert.
And more excited, we did go. We went to. I know it's not a popular comedian, but we went to a comedy show for Ali Sadiq.
Okay.
And he actually was shooting his Netflix special the day that we went.
Okay.
So that was
on TV, nigga?
Yeah, so that was exciting.
Okay.
That was really cool. So we had to come back and he like reshot some stuff. It was like a whole cool little moment, but he was my favorite comedian, so look forward to that whenever he
That's gonna be fun.
This one.
I might have to look out for that because I'm like, where Jalen at?
Yeah.
Just in case, you know they be panning. So you might be able to see for real.
Yeah, and that was at the Masonic Temple, so that was my first time like going there in a long time. So it was really dope how they did it, good layout and everything. So it was dope.
That's gonna be cool,
real nice.
So the trend of the week this week is Keke Palmer getting quote unquote, I guess, canceled because she took down her Jonathan Major podcast episode due to the backlash of his abusive allegations, because I gotta make sure I say that, allegedly. So how do it kind of gives me if you the person that came to mind because you said R. Kelly earlier. So now I'm thinking, will you ever give someone a second chance based off of if they did something fucked up in their past that is heavily seen, you're in the media, so we all know what you did, type of thing,
So I'm lost when it comes to the specific situation because I thought that we moved on past Jonathan Majors and I thought we just, labeled him as just, the awkward black guy in Hollywood. I didn't know that people still harbor feelings and everything. And I did see somebody say how is it that you've been in an abusive relationship and then you have somebody who's an alleged abuser on your podcast?
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, I get that, but at the same time, I guess it goes back to your question, when do we move forward? And I don't want to say that to negate from the fact that he allegedly did what he did, but when do like to get to reset or restart
Um,
away from the backlash? Because he lost Marvel contracts and everything, a lot of money over that.
He did.
And like I said, I thought that he was okay,
Clear
like it never clear of all allegations.
They said a video resurfaced and it was audio of him like saying that I think allegedly that he was going because I have to say it that he was going to harm her vocally.
Well,
so
this is it for me. History is all about who hand is on the pen.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching from this story, one party be allowed to have a microphone and one not, it's kind of like hard to even weigh it in an honest, non-biased opinion at that point. You know what I'm saying? If every time this person pops up and does this, then it's this level of backlash. Now, what I will say is from an industry standpoint, there has been a seen acceptance of him. I personally have been trying to see his new film for quite some time. It just came out. It's called Calendar Dreams, I believe. It's basically the story of him playing a bodybuilder. And
I did see
right,
right.
And I believe it's the Max Killian story or something like that. But it's a really good trailer, really like dope. Everything. I just like it. And for me, I think even with some of the things that I've seen, where it's like he is back in talks with Marvel and stuff like that, I think this is a certain side of the coin having the microphone at the moment,
right?
Which is more so what I think. I think it's a situational moment, and unfortunately, some of Keke Palmer's past situations and past lived experiences are being used against her.
True, because she had the Usher thing. I'm not Usher. Sorry. She had the what's his name?
But even on top of
Trey Songz, yeah.
But even on top of with the Usher thing, like
it was an Usher thing, yeah.
Yeah, so people looking at it, you know, in these different aspects and whatever she might have had prior to what we know, you know, to use it against her. But this is also the reason why you kind of support her. Is kind of more biased and hypocritical on you as the consumer. So I don't hold neither one of them like in a negative light towards it. I think they both was doing what they felt was good in the moment. And I always say like judge people off intent. So like I always try to judge people of what they intended to do and not what the result was, because we all make mistakes.
We do.
You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like I love her podcast. I feel like Keke Palmer has a good, she's very articulate. She knows exactly like what her purpose is. And I really don't feel like she should have been canceled or people attempting to criticize her or whatever.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think Jonathan Majors do need a platform to explain things, and Keke has been doing a good job with asking people hard-ass questions, you know, so I feel like
if I'm going to be real, prior to this, I didn't even know she had a podcast. I'm just keeping it being.
Oh, but this is Keke Palmer.
But I never knew, because like, y'all know, I'm not a big social media. Whatever I'm watching, whatever I'm kicking it on, that's what I'm vibing with. So like, for me to not even know, but I want to hear Jonathan Major's perspective. It makes me then go and watch her podcast.
You said it like it's
a
real person.
Well, it was excuse me to everything. It's respect to all things around. You know what I'm saying? Because I startled somebody, because the table was upset, the fans got scared. Okay. I was like, excuse me to all.
He was like, excuse me, you know.
Excuse me to all. But yeah, so that's what's up.
Well, he's on a podcast. He's on Shannon Sharp podcast, isn't he? I see some clips.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
Interview on Shannon Sharp?
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that yet.
I did.
I watched Damon Wayans.
I know Damon Wayans was on
I didn't finish. No, I didn't even watch it. I
That's
watched
nice.
Marlon.
Yeah.
Marlon.
I watched Marlon.
I watched Marlon too.
So, what is it? Topics of the week. It got pre-25 versus post-25. It's got friendships, career, romance, family, and life journey.
Okay, so this is the topic that I picked.
Uh-oh.
And
it's crazy.
okay, chill out. I guess I really wanted to dive into, because Millennial Talk podcast, we're all millennials, and we touch on a lot of stuff off camera. But we have some real deep conversations off camera. We had talked about, it was in regards to relationships, but I didn't want to keep it in the aspect of just relationships. Your brain concept, or like how you thought before the age of 25, because it's a shift at 25 that you go through for real when it comes to everything in life versus post 25. And I really want to touch on this too because like I remember being 25, I had moved out for the first time, and like life was lifing. It wasn't that bad, but life was life. Like the first time moving out, and I remember just praying to God, like Lord, I just want stability and financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. I just want stability, and I feel like these last, I'm gonna say 4 years because I turned 29 in August. But these last 4 years, every quarter of each year has been working on something that I prayed for, reaching the age of 30. So post 25.
I definitely agree with that.
So I want to know, like, in regards, let's talk about friendships and family. What has changed, or like, what's your outlets on friendship and family pre 25 Jalen and Deontay versus post 25 Jalen and Deontay, and then I'll chime in.
I feel like for me, like when it comes to family, I've grown to be a little bit more, just more family oriented. Like I think I was always kind of family oriented, but it just made me. I'm getting older. I feel like we're taking on that next generation mantle. Like, oh, we got to plan Thanksgiving. We got to do this. We got to bring the family together, type of thing. And then with friends, I feel like we're in a growing period where people are getting married. They're having their first child or children. And things are our paths are starting to like grow a little, further apart because we have to, take care of our family. So just accepting that, going through that change, I feel like that's kind of like what post 25 looks.
So let's talk about pre 25. How does that look in regards to friendships? Like, I know you personally, you cut them off, we done, it's okay. Has that changed in regards to friendships? Like, you fell out with a friend, or are now you more so like, let's talk about it first, or?
It depends on what's been done. I feel like out of respect, I will listen to what you have to say. Like if we wanted to have a conversation based off of the situation, but after that, you still might get cut off. I just feel like it's like we talked about off camera. People serve a purpose. You know what I'm saying? It may not necessarily be for the rest of my life. It could have been for that 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But I'll always love you from a distance. And that's just a respect. Wish you the best. And I never used to not do that. I used to just never say shit.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, Jay, what about you? Friendships and family, like how outlook on how you treat your friendships, how you treat your family now versus how you used to at the age of 25.
Pre 25.
Wild boy.
That was a wild boy. I gave a fuck though. That'd be my honest thing. I cared. I cared about my friendships. I cared about like the smallest things, making your life better however I could. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you was going through, I was really like pulling on that. And kind of some of the things y'all said, like you get married, want to get married. So I have friends of mine now that like are now getting married, and I have to understand that the promises we made to each other at younger ages or at that time were ignorant, and I have to be okay with that. Because we were making that decision with what we knew at that time and the tools we had access to at that time. Falling in love is one of the greatest things on earth. So I can't get mad if my friend went and fell in love and that the promise he kept to me, he can no longer keep because he made the promise to someone else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've learned to actually appreciate my friends who upheld those promises than the ones they held to me. And that's been a more struggling process because like Deontay was saying, you got to cut off people in that life. So now I'm looking at certain behaviors like I would have been cool with that, but now that I want my lady here, now that I want to welcome kids into this life, like what does it look like having you here for the next 10 years?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I've been real big on that aspect of things. And with family, I've always been on, fuck blood. It's always been about decision making. So if you choose to be my family, choose to love me as family should, I'm gonna treat you as such. I'm very reciprocal in my post 25 age. I'm very big on that more so than I was before. Yeah, and so that's what I'm very big on. And I meet you where you at. That to finish off my point, like I understand if my friend might not have his degree, might not do this, but is a good person. If I can unfortunately pour into you more at this moment to bring you up, and I know that you're a good person that's gonna feed back into me, I'm gonna do that. So I know, because I never know when I'm gonna say I need help or when I need a hand up. But goddamn, if it's 25 years from now and I know I can call on you, I made the right decision. So I kind of lean on that a lot more.
Okay. For me, I feel like with regards to friendships, it's kind of more so of a where, like you said, meeting you where you at. Like right now, like post 25, I was a friend you call for any and everything. And I would like exert myself out and whatever you want to do, I'm down, be tired. No matter what, we have 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm with you, I got you.
Right.
I still got you. but at the age after 25, I still got you. But let's think about the decisions a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Where are we going? I want more like-minded people around me. And I'm thankful and grateful and truly blessed for the friendships that I do have now, especially the ones that I've had since childhood to preteen, teen, early adult. Now we reaching the end of our 20s when it's our 30s. Grateful for that, but at the same time, like I said, conversations are different with me now. I'm looking at different things. Like, yeah, we gonna still kick it, we still gonna have fun, but if I see my friend and he or she not on what they supposed to be on, I'm gonna let you know. More so, it's like post 25 was like, I mean, you know, you take it one day at a time. Like, nah, it's like, no, life's a little bit serious now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that. And with family, I've always been a family-oriented person. So now I was just planning more time to spend with them. It's really been on my heart. Like, with my brother, especially with my parents, they're in their 60s now. Yes. And then, like, planning more family stuff. Like, we got to finally, the cousins that made it out the group chat. And we did a game night. That was back in December. We got to start doing it more often.
Yeah.
But just making memories with my family, you know. So that's for me. But like, let's get into a career and life journey. What was your aspect on like careers in general pre-25?
I'm still gonna have a job. That's one thing about me. If I'm not satisfied, I'm not where I want to be, and I feel like, you know, we kind of already talked about this. We know, as millennials, we're always going to go for the best opportunity, and I feel like that's why they hate us, because we're not going to get it in a sense out the mud like how our traditional parents used to be. But that's where I'm always fight for what I want, ambitious enough to, you know, keep trying, and that's just
have your career goals changed?
You know what? It has changed. It made me realize that I want to be an entrepreneur, and this has to take off. That's like how my mindset is. I don't want to work for nobody. I want to be able to work for myself, be able to employ people, not on no Oprah and Tyler Perry type shit.
Don't say that.
But, no. I mean, like, no disrespect. But it's just, you know, they're those type of people. I don't know what God has for me, you know, when it comes to it. But definitely that. But I definitely want to be able to help my family, my friends, whoever has want to do what we do, or, you know, help us grow. That's what I want to do.
Definitely. As everybody know, I was just I've always just hustled in my life. So like for me, I mean, whatever, my goal is always just to be a dad. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, do what they wanted to do. So for me, it was like, I never was like, okay, I'm going to do this and be all what I want to be. Like, as right now, I've always just optimized my skills. That's always been my thing. So, like, whatever my skill set is, so even when we was talking on camera, like, I'm looking at opportunities with, like, different academies and stuff like that to basically be, like, a resource outreach person for the kids in the school and their parents. So it's similar to what I'm doing now, but it's like I always like working with kids. I always like doing it. I always wanted to give back to the community, so I always look for more impactful work.
Okay.
I can make $1 straight, so it's like I'm gonna always make that work. I can always make this. I'm doing all types of stuff on the side, so I'm never hungry. But it's like what I'm doing on the day, I always want to be impactful. Like how we were saying off camera, what my legacy is. Like, oh, he did this, he touched this person, he helped this person, he did this, and like that's always what's most important. You can't put $1 on impact.
Okay.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
Influence is important.
Yeah.
I think for me, like post 25, I was so set on the goal of I'm gonna be a doctor. Period. So my whole life kind of revolved around that. And it wasn't until I hit the age of 25 until I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it was a tough way. It was tough because like I wanted to do this since I was 5.
Right.
So the last 20 years I wanted to do this, and now all of a sudden I don't want to do this. And so pre-25 was just like, I'm gonna do this, mindset of this goal, and this is what my career is going to look like. Post-25, I'm all about pivoting and moving through wherever God takes me.
Period.
With my goal. Like, my goal is to be a PA or an NP, which is a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner. But however God takes me, because like I said, pre-25, it was like, if I do this and I stay here, I work here, I get shadowing experience and I get money. But now it's like, with the career, wherever God takes me, whatever I do, like I'm working in the lab now. I'm an ophthalmic technician, and I done did phlebotomy. So it's like I'm still maneuvering in the same field, but I'm still going towards the goal. So I'm more comfortable with the pivots that's being thrown my way when it comes to my career instead of just this is the only one straight and narrow path.
Yeah, like you said, it's grooming you, to be that, like optimizing the skill sets. And you said the same thing off camera too. Just gaining more, knowledge and stuff like that, because knowledge is power.
Yeah.
But that leads us into which you kind of already said. You already said the main word, pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we handle having to pivot in life and knowing when to pivot?
Okay, so diving deeper into what I just talked about. Since we are talking about diving deeper into that, it was rough, like I said, because for the last 20 years before, when I was 25, it's like, I'm a doctor, I'm a dermatologist, I'm the first doctor in my family, and I put all this weight and this pressure on myself to continue this goal. And I feel like we're that generation that was told, you go to college and that's the way you make it, that's the way you succeed. Whereas us maneuvering through 18 to now, the last 10 years, it's like, no, there's multiple ways to succeed.
Definitely.
And it's okay to change your mind. Because when I say, like, I had a whole mental fit, what? I need to do this. I'm supposed to be the first doctor, and I'm going to be a black doctor, and that's what I was putting my weight on. Like, so yeah, I had to, like, really sit with myself and say, this is what I want to do. And it's not about the weight that I put on myself. It's not about what I think or what I thought that my parents wanted from me. Mm-hmm. It's what Maegan wants. And that change, that pivot really changed my life and took it down a path where I never really seen it going. You know what I'm saying? And my parents were supportive 100%. Shoot, my dad looked at me, he's like, so what, you don't want to do doctor anymore, you going to focus 100% on your business?
Right.
Like, you going to be an entrepreneur? Let's do that. So just having that support and makes the pivot a little easier, and then staying true, because you do have to pick like what you want in life. You got to narrow it down. So just having that mindset towards that and pivoting, it was hard, but I did it. So,
I think that's excellent, and having a support system makes it even better because you feel like that love and support. I don't know, like knowing when to pivot. I feel like I start to know in my life when shit starts blowing up in my face. And I feel like, you know what? It's time to fucking pivot. Because ain't no way I'm about to allow like too much negative things to just keep happening. And that's when I start, you notice those red flags. And I feel like that's when I know it's time to start pivoting. And having a support system, being able to talk to other people and feel like, sometimes your friends point out them red flags and you may not even be, knowing. So sometimes talking to people will help you realize those red flags and know when it's time to pivot. And if you don't know how to do it, I feel like talk to your support system, do some like meditation, praying, and I feel like you'll get guided to the right place.
I always been big on energy. Like if it don't feel right, like I'm not doing it. Like I'm not partaking in it. I'm not nothing. Like it could be whatever offered. Because I done made the same amount on both ends. So it's like for me, just whatever work, so I can go hustle this and entrepreneur this, or I can go work over here and punch the clock and I'm all the same. and it feel good to have the access to do so. And that's more so what I've always been big on. I want the opportunity. Like that's always been my thing. Like I don't want you to have the ability to say no to me because of some fucking papers. Let it be me. If you're saying no to me, I'm cool with that. Like whatever. Right. It might not be for me. But don't let it be because I didn't do this, I didn't wear a suit, I didn't look this, I look too much like a nigga. Like whatever it was. Like I don't want it to be none of the reasons. So it's always been energy, like with everybody. Like if I'm around this person, this job, this endeavor, this hustle idea, like whatever it is, and I'm cool with being wrong. And I think that's one thing that's always been a benefit of me is I'm cool with the consequences and I'm cool with being wrong. Like, all right, this ain't work out. So be it. Like, I did it though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I went and did it. Didn't work out. I can give you the lessons on it. Like, or it did work out. And this is what happened with it. Like, for most people, like with the music production, I stopped that and was like, I'm gonna go DJ. It's like, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is what I decided to do. Same field, doing what I do, making money. So it's just like a fun thing, but it's like I'm enjoying that more, and I don't divvy from that. Okay.
So for you, it's more so like energy. Like when I feel like this is ending, or when I feel like it's time for me to bow out, it's okay. You handle it well.
Yeah, and I communicate with people that it's gonna affect, and I think that's the other thing. And then it's this money, like you're not gonna take it with you. So it's like if I'm chasing this or chasing that, it's irrelevant. Like I touched that, I know it, like all of this is cool, but what do it get me? Like I love the fisherman in the boat example. You know what I'm saying? When people always use that, I love that example. It's like, yeah, bro. Like at the end of the day, what is you doing this for? You just getting fish. Like at the end of the day, like you know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather be with my fam, like how we was connecting about that aspect. Or there's certain things where it's like. I've been around you in the health field. I've been around people when I was a chef at the nursing home, like people who are dying or losing their life. Like it's like when they talk about what's important to them, it's never was how much money they made. It never was their asset. It never was none of that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I need to take this. This is God's opportunity to teach me like embrace life more. So I've always just ran with that like aspect, like what feel right, what feel this. Like I said, my movie gonna be dope as hell. Like it's gonna be fly as fuck. Like
I agree. I feel like you can't take money with you. You can only remember those experiences. I always think about that saying, or well, it's not a saying. It's actually like I guess scientifically proven. When you start to go or die, whatever they say that the first I think 5 minutes, your mind just replays memories before you go.
5 days. Replay. What's the little thing you put in your eyes and you flip?
Oh, I remember that.
That's how they be. I'm telling you, bro. Like,
yeah.
like 5 days before, like you'll be talking to them. Like, man, I remember. Yeah. Like when they say I remember, that's another one.
Memories you gotta cherish memories. That's very important. I much rather care about that.
Make good memories. Yeah. Because imagine you on your deathbed and the only thing that's flashing is like how you got into it with your mama, your brother cussed you out, you cussed your daughter out, your daughter hates you, your other son don't like you. Like, imagine that. Like.
Not y'all got me together like off camera, and it was like, who's gonna be there if you go? If you don't give nobody a chance, and I'm like, damn, y'all was right.
When I was in my early 20s, just my grandma was talking, and she made me realize the significance of a photo book. Yeah. Like we take so many pictures, but we don't produce the pictures. And she tell me that all the time. She's like, y'all kids just click, 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 click. She's like, but y'all don't create. She said, y'all take the picture and don't create the memory. That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like that type of thing. So like we'd go to these pictures, these restaurants, taking money people. We never produced the photo. Yeah. So then when you with your grandma, you with whoever, you flipping through.
Like this is what Papa used to do back then.
And we don't think about it till we like. Well, at least for me, like I think about it now at this age, like dang, why I still got this mind to like understand what it is. Cause like I look at her pictures when she take them out, and she wrote notes. Like she wrote what happened, and I'd be like, dang, like let me do that. Cause I always tell people if I went missing, they would have a picture of me from when I was like 18, like they was at my mama's house, like cause I don't take pictures, I don't do nothing. But then be like, let me do that more because whatever could happen.
And I kind of started doing that for my family. Like Thanksgiving is held over our house every year, so I made the good idea. But it's all on my phone. I said let's create a family photo album.
So that is nice.
Thanksgiving is all documented, but I haven't had the chance. I really haven't sat down and gave myself time to really go somewhere and have a pictures printed, get a nice little photo book, put it in the book, or even make one of those books and then have multiple copies.
Because you can,
know about that. Yeah.
what I do, because CVS got an app, you can basically upload the pictures, set the size, but not even that. You can designate like when you want it and stuff like that. Like you can set it all up so when you go up there, you can just grab it. So if you wanted a picture like this size and then something that was smaller or whatever, you could do all of it. So like we get a bunch of portraits of like us when we go on dates and stuff, and we frame them and stuff. So like in the room and all around, it's just pictures of us on different days, different trips, and
yeah, like, that's how it was when I worked at FedEx. Yeah. It was the same thing. Like you get different portraits and stuff like that. But to piggyback off of that, I feel like growing up, that was like a monumental thing, like those little notes. And I still have like a lot of my family photo albums, so it's funny to flip through and see like how my granny used to be. Like it was a picture. I don't know how old I was, but we was on like this Florida porch in my grandma's house, and I literally held my granny cane up like this. I was whipping around and I was just smiling and shit. It was crazy, and it brought. I was telling my grandma when I was talking to her about it. I was like, yeah, I remember the picture of granny sitting there with them. Oh, they had the little octagon glasses back then, and I'm sitting there like, just work brings up those emotions. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's just a beautiful thing to do, and everything can be electronic. So.
Yeah. So at this point in time in your lives, what would y'all say is like the biggest pivot that y'all have experienced? Coming with heavy hitters this episode.
Okay. Because for real,
if I'm gonna be honest with you, my biggest pivot was drinking less. Okay. When we was talking about off camera, like my, I had like a drinking problem. Like I was alcoholic. I went through my whole situation. So I stopped drinking, like really like as bad as I was. Like it was a very what's the term? So for all my drinkers out there, y'all know, like if y'all went through that, like the slingshot, leveling, things like that. So like just different terms, like where you kind of like you're not like I ain't gonna say you're drunk, but you're not sober. And
so you're functioning.
Yeah, like you function, but you figure out how to like not even time. You figure out these perfect measurements and perfect like times, whatever your measurement, whether it's the type of drink, the time that you drink, when you go, like however you measure, it's like you figure out a point where it's like perfect. Like I can always kind of like drink this amount in this time frame to kind of keep this steady buzz going.
Functioning.
Yeah, like it's like a funk, like a steady buzz. Like it's just constant, and like just getting to this point in my life where a level of clarity, a level of like working out, doing whatever I'm doing, I can still have fun drinking,
right,
and still not go far, do different, just crazy things, and so like that was like the biggest pivot because I realized how much alcohol was motivating a lot of my decisions in tandem, like with what I was doing, like just with alcohol. So that was a big one.
Damn, where did I? Yeah. So
the biggest or hardest pivot that you've encountered so far?
My hardest pivot, I don't know. I feel like my hardest pivot has been like coming to certain realizations about myself that I have to change. So like letting go in all senses, like letting go and giving it to God, letting go on like control in general, and then just also being able to take down like the wall of emotion, because I could be very like, I guess, very nonchalant when it comes to things.
And blunt.
I said it. So I just feel like sometimes I have to work on like, I'm more so empathetic to people that I know and I care about. Not saying that if somebody came up to me and was like, yeah, I'm down because somebody just passed away, I'm not about to be like, damn, all right, so what are we supposed to be doing now? Or whatever. I'm not like that, but it's just more so like, and I think my nonchalant is more of a guard. So that's kind of like what I'm working on, is just doing that. So that's kind of like my pivot, just coming to realizations of me as a person, being self-aware.
So more so on an emotional level, like just pivoting away from being nonchalant and trying to care more?
Yeah. On certain things.
Okay.
But yeah, just self-aware. Like I feel like if you're more self-aware and you're putting intention behind you trying to change and be a better person, I feel like that's a good, start.
Mm-hmm. I think my biggest pivot would be when I had to come to realization that like I really don't have control over my life. I'm big on my faith, my religion, my spirituality. Like I believe and I love God, I love some Jesus.
Amen.
But it came to the point in my life where I had to realize that nothing that I'm doing is working. Like after graduation, I feel like every advance that I made towards being a doctor and going off to med school, it was like tethering away. Whereas now I'm looking back and I'm seeing that God was really creating a new path so that I can go and do something different that I actually have a meaning for, like a purpose, more purposeful life. Because again, like I said, everything was like, oh, be a doctor, do this, do that. And now it's kind of like, again, I feel like I repeat myself, but that was the pivot. The hardest thing was accepting the fact that I really don't have as much control over my life in regards to my faith than I actually do, or thought I had. So that was my biggest pivot. Because post-graduation, you really think, because we were fed the idea that you're going to be successful, you're going to get a job, you're going to get a whole lot of money, when in reality, they don't tell you a lot of stuff on the back end, especially when it comes like to medical school and stuff like that. They don't tell you the back end of everything that you really have to do to get to that next step, to even get accepted into medical school.
Can I be honest, though?
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's a little bit of validity to post-secondary education, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because in watching my counterparts who did get their degrees prior to when I got mine, there is a cap out there, that I think my counterparts didn't have to experience because of their college experience, to where when they got into the job market, it was predicated to their field, not predicated off of their age, race, and gender. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, I worked a lot of jobs where, like, I did work up to management, this and that, had these experiences. So when I'm, like, around my age group, then, like, dang, you worked all these different jobs. You know what I'm saying? Not compared to you, but I'm saying,
why I catch a straight?
Jamaican.
Why I catch a fucking straight?
Nigga had, like, 10 jobs in high school, like, one grade, like,
they run the wrong way. You were in somebody else's department. Somebody else's job.
But I will say, like, because I work all these different jobs, when I went with my counterparts, they like, dang, you worked in a butcher shop, cook, this and that. I'm like, yeah, so, like, my people skills, by comparison, I look at it differently. But I say all that to say, like, when I hear the common person and some of their woes, I'm kind of a bit more understanding of that difference, where it's like, oh, like, a degree, like, you ain't really got this one, or you can't. I'm like, no, dog, like, having that bitch, being a nigga who literally didn't have one, and then that shit, like, that, I swear to God, it was like a week change where, like, the jobs I was able to apply for, get, be a part of, was like instantly.
Floodgate just open.
Bro, floodgate. I was the same dude, same previous job, same education, everything. Like, it was crazy. And my brother, I love him to death. I talked to him about it, and he got back in school because he realized, like, bro, there's a cap out here for this. Like, I can't, like, if you and going back to, like, some things talking about, like, ambitious or, like, want the families, want this, want these things. It's like, bro, you cannot. Like, you cannot unless you're working yourself to death. And, like, the entrepreneur stuff is cool, but if everybody's being honest, it's oversaturated.
It's not, I don't say it's oversaturated, but
everybody
it's not for everybody.
Well, I mean, and for, like, what the general populace does that defines their entrepreneurs.
Like lashes, wigs.
Just a lot of the stuff. I mean, like, even for me, like, I do clothes and I do music. Like, it is a saturated market. Like, I'm not going to sit here and cap, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I mean when you're talking to the general person. They're saying that these are, like, a lot of the markets that they're, like, talking about. Like, we can all make cocoa butter after a point. Like, it just get to a point where it's like, no, I'm just being dead ass. Where it's like, if Maegan doing it and I'm doing it, at some point we're going to be in competition for one another. So I'm gonna say I want her to fail. I just don't want her to do business with me. So it's like, if we still have these same ambitions of a boat and this and that, but I'm like, well, Me and Maegan both live in Detroit. I can't let her get more cut. It just happens, and so it's like, and that's just me and her. If you times that by 100, which is really what we're dealing with, and that's even small. It's like that's what I mean. Like that's the overall market in these 50 states, really 48. So it's like it get kind of nasty. Like that's what I mean. Like that degree makes a huge that post-secondary education makes a huge difference. Like I want to keep reiterating like that post-secondary education makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I was just saying into like what we were told. They weren't lies that we were told. It was just battered into our head, like go to college and you'll be successful. Sure. Period. What I was saying was more on like the back end and the details of you might change your mind. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And that's why I'm speaking on pivots, because like you might change your mind, or life might happen. You might have to stop going to school, or financial aid might happen. You might have to stop going to school and find out how you're going to pay to keep going. But to speak on that, I've experienced that too, though. Like, I remember I was talking to somebody, and we were both saying how we wanted to go back and get our masters because we see it's even a cap on people with the post-secondary, with just a bachelor's. Yeah. So we were saying like, we want to go get our masters. That's not even a option. Like, we have to now. You know.
I do think that's definitely on your industry too, and that's the problem.
Too. Yeah, because my mom, she got her master's maybe when we was graduating high school or something like that. But even back then, she told me like you need to. She was like, continue to get your master's or whatever, and I'm like, I was okay with a bachelor's because my experience with college was like, fuck, like it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to whether it's studying or doing with all of that, but it is a cap with your bachelor's degree. And when I seen that shit, I was mad as hell because I'm like, I done went to school for 4 years thinking that this could be it. And then I'm thinking like if you get a master's or a PhD or something like that, it's more so for what you're trying to do. Like, in those bigger, no shade, like bigger careers where you're a doctor, lawyer, you're trying to, specify certain things. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I still don't even know if I want to go back to school to get my master's.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying from my end. Because, like, when I worked at certain, like, grocery stores and I was the manager there at ASM, I'm like, yo, this is great money. If I was like, fuck it, I'm cool, dog. I could have did that and had, like, the dope thing. I could have moved up. But it was like, when I got this piece of paper now, I swear to God, what I realized is that when I would even come with these dope ideas to this white dude, this black dude who did whatever, when I would come with these dope ideas, the same black dude, they did not fuck with me. Post. But now post, they listen to me, and it's like just that. Like, even if I don't go back for a master, even on that hustler, entrepreneur stuff, it's like people just are accepting of like this level of like discipline, whatever they equate to it, but it's like the same people. I was in the same room with these dudes. I dressed better than them. I did all the stuff that they told you on the other end of not going to school. It don't matter, nigga. You can go hustle. You can go get your haircuts and make sure you look like the part. You can fake it to you. I did all that shit. And it was like, oh, I still need this because we still on the regular Tuesday. I can wear all this shit all day, but it's like eventually you're going to show up with the sweatpants, dog. Like, eventually it's going to happen. And, like, that's what will happen. It's like, I could be the most creative dude or whatever, and you going to get treated like the creative. You know what I'm saying? And, like, until I became... until I became the business dude that understood this and that, I could do like this. Or they would share their information because they saw, like, okay, I worked through that. Because they know the story. Like, people saw me drop out, get this paid, pay these fools this paid, come back, right? Like, it's like that process is like you appreciate the dude on that journey. That's what happened to me now.
Exactly.
So it's like I just tell people like go do something. I just like get your ass off the couch. You know what I'm saying? You sit your ass on there anyhow. What's going to say? You sit your ass on the couch all day anyhow. Get up and do something.
Now you sound like ICDC college. No, it's the bride.
Oh, that's the bride.
Yeah.
Sitting there on your couch.
Anyway,
you could be out here getting your degree,
regardless of what
or certification.
Get your shit together, bro. That's all I say. Like, just do something. Like, even if you the ice cream man, I ain't tripping on nobody doing nothing. No, I'm not even joking. Like, bro, go do it.
Shit, McDonald's is paying managers more than what
6 figures.
Yeah,
you pay 6 figures. Like, that's what I'm saying. And like, I hate to like shame on it. Like, bro, go do your thing. Like, I love the little inside, outside the truck thing they be doing, like the little TikToks and all that stuff.
Oh,
like, yeah, this me inside the truck. And they're like, oh, this me outside. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's fire, bro. Show them how you living. Like, I love
That's
seeing the
sweet.
teachers do it. Like, everybody
Oh,
do it
yeah.
because it's like, it's just, you a person, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
You bring, that's one thing, like, my job always says, is like, they care about the full person that you bring to work.
Yeah.
You know, they're not old-fashioned when it comes to professionalism. Like, you know, they want to make sure you're straight. You know, that's why they give us well-being days. So, we,
What is that?
what the hell did you
so guys,
What the hell wrong with
let's explain that. So, well-being day is basically where they give you any employees all the same day off, and you can just relax and recuperate, you know, everything, and you just have that day off, and you get paid for it.
Nice.
But I mean, in the middle field, they ain't giving that shit. So
What the
It's
hell?
24-hour operation.
But
Yeah, ain't no
Every
matter.
day of the week.
It was my field. What the hell?
yeah, that's what it is.
Well-being.
Yeah,
What must be nice? Like,
yeah. I think a millennial came up with that shit. But
Yeah.
yeah.
somebody after 96, I tell you that. Somebody did. Lord.
I be a little jealous of other fields though, cause like y'all do get some good, especially on corporate jobs.
Yes.
Y'all be right. I couldn't do business casual every day, but
You ain't got to.
No,
Trust
you
me.
don't.
I know.
Trust me.
They come in with jogging pants on,
Yeah,
sweatshirt.
I have my Uggs on the other day. Yeah.
Wow.
As long as you're not like client facing.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not client facing, you good. Or if you are, just wear.
Just know if they ratchet or
Yeah.
not.
So,
Just know if they ratchet or
I
not.
ain't motherfucker.
I had some ghetto foster parents. I was like, oh, you good? Oh, we chilling today.
Not
no,
that
like
good.
y'all get stuff like you acceptable to stuff like that. We would say PTO.
Yeah.
Just
Do y'all even get like a lot of PTO?
No, we do at my job.
Oh, okay,
that
that's
I
good.
work at. We do get a generous amount of PTO, and it really do add up.
That's
You
good.
know,
That's what matters.
it really do add up. But just like overall, I'm not just lifestyle because medical field lifestyle is pretty lit this way. But we pretty lit this way. I'm
I'm like, I was almost in
My mama
that.
nursed for 30 years, so I know all they little games. So I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
they are capping like
That's
3 days a week. I'm gonna do 72 hours.
what I'm saying. Like, that's pretty lit when you think about it. Like,
Fucking 12 days a month. What are you talking about? Look at that.
but still, like, just little stuff like that. But yeah, it's lit.
Monday, Thursday, Sunday. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't want to work on the weekends. My mama got me hip to that. She was like, make sure you don't work on the weekends. Look for a job that you don't have to work on the weekends.
Smart.
Every other weekend is a bad though. Once you get used to it.
I was tired of retail,
Or-
so that's why I was
Get
like,
used
no.
to it.
Or no weekend.
No, that's
Ooh,
God level, but-
Ooh, and we don't work on Fridays.
Or I be getting off early, because I get off at 3:30.
Oh yeah, we was talking about that. We was talking about that earlier. I come in at 11. I can leave at 2.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I swear to God.
That's crazy.
I swear to God. And salary.
Yeah, I'm Saturday too.
That's what I said. The degree junk is different.
It is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But-
But guys, so if I knew then what I know now, so Megan, you want to pull or you want
I pulled last week.
Ooh.
We was lost.
Okay.
Monogamy.
Deep. We was lost last week.
Now we
deep
deep.
this week.
Hmm.
Ooh. If I knew then, what I mean, I don't even want to know.
I think he having a psychotic.
Okay.
So it's okay.
If I knew then, that's what I know now.
I'm-
About
I think I'm
going
fucking
deep.
up.
Ooh, I would have held back. All the things you can do when you hold back a little bit.
Jesus, Jay. If I knew then what I know now about deep, okay.
We're straight.
I wouldn't. Take a look at it.
Okay.
It's funny.
Okay.
Because I just read that. God,
I wouldn't have gotten so deep so quick in certain relationships.
Oh.
I feel like when you get deep too quick, too fast, you hit that wall, that plateau, that you don't really know how to get around.
He's making everything sexual. Because you said hit wall, you know.
Wow!
I already knew where his mouth
I'm
was
sorry,
going.
Megan.
I wouldn't have gotten that serious / deep that quick.
Good. That was a good
Sound
point.
like it never happened. The way it just went right.
Good point. Good point.
Good point.
Jalen, you go next so we can get you over.
What
with.
does she mean? Like, no, all bullshit aside. I would just. Damn, I guess that is the only context for me. Cause like I don't mind like getting deep in conversation with people and shit like that. Cause it's like I look at life as temporary sometimes, so it'd be cool. Like if I maybe not being so deep in the club, I look up and I'm.
Not you that one. Get to sit down and have a whole conversation.
With a stripper. And
She has. I swear to God, I will.
Here's my
Music
business card.
blasting, drinks pouring.
That's
So what
throwing.
led you to this lifestyle?
No, I'll never. I'll never say something like that.
okay.
No, you walk up on me with the topic, and I'm just like, oh, like, what you here for school? Or what you want to do? How you get into? Like, I'm that dude. Oh, a vet, word. Like, you like animals? Like, oh, you got a dog at the car? Let me see a picture of the dog. I'll be right back. And then she go get her phone. Not like it's just like that's how it happens, type of thing. So it's like maybe refrain from doing that a little bit, you know, or how I was saying earlier, just small mentions. Like I learned how, you know, not so much. Less is more, because more is more, but so, but restraint can take you a long way.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
That's very true.
yeah, it can take you a long way. So like, you know, maybe yeah, I wouldn't have maybe like cave dived as soon as I would have.
Okay.
In prior situations, I would have explored every aspect of the asphalt.
You would have had the little pulley and went down slow.
Maybe.
No. Or you would have had the little
Okay,
finger
that's
slid
almost
down.
similar to what I said. You wouldn't have like, you know.
No.
Quick.
No, you was talking about like emotionally.
I was talking about like in relationships, like,
Yeah, like
all around.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm just talking about
in life.
just Tuesday, her. I'm like, my bad. Like, that caused problems later. And I was like, I probably gave her like A+, and that was like a B- type of day that it should have been. I should have, like, less sweat, less.
Come on.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Yeah, like, I'm like, just certain shit. Like,
If I knew then
less.
what I know now about being deep,
see?
let me hurry. I feel like deep. What do I think of when that word? Because I'm not about to keep saying it. 'Cause I know you.
that way.
Just saying.
I think sometimes having deep conversations with strangers brings you closer to like your humanity as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I like to have more deep conversations with random people. Even though I kind of do that, well, more so they just get deep with me randomly because they feel like my energy is good. But for me to actually truly engage and be deep with them when it comes to like words and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's something that if I knew back then, early on, I would. You know.
You up every
It does. It does.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing.
Okay.
I did. I wanted to give you two your flowers.
Oh.
Gosh.
Being the great black man that you two are, I just, on a serious note, like, we've all known each other since 2010.
Yeah.
2010, 2011. We went to Southfield High together. We went to Oakland University together. We are now all in our postgraduate era, going into our 30s. So we are all walking into a new decade of life with each other.
Yes.
And I want to take this time to just say that with everything that I know that y'all went through in college alone, y'all are amazing black men. Y'all are successful black men. And I'm glad to be able to see y'all grow from Beyonce and Jalen in high school to everything that we went through, Oakland, to even now. And we're all doing this podcast together. So now we're going to see the next chapters of each other's life. Like, I'm glad to be around successful, since we talked about it on this episode, college-educated black men that are breaking molds, breaking chains, creating new scenarios and new beginnings for not only themselves, but for your children, your bloodline, and everybody who is to come. So I give you your flowers. And I know that, I got brothers that I love. Shout out to James and Chris. But I look at y'all as like brothers too, and then like whenever I have my kids, they'll have good uncles to be around.
Period. I love that.
So I'm happy to be here with y'all, and that we are taking this journey. I know this is only the 3rd episode. We gonna go far.
Yeah.
With
Thank you. And I'm proud of you too.
Yeah.
Being not only, I don't want to say strong Black woman because that has a negative connotation, but I feel like you're a emotionally intelligent, beautiful, educated Black woman, and we've just been friends for so long to see like the transition is crazy in a good way because it's like, yeah, we were young teenagers to like you said, going into our 30s together. It's just like, wow, you know, we've grown so much, you know.
And that's pivoting. We've pivoted so much
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
We've pivoted so much together. But that has been another episode.
Where can they follow you guys?
Instagram @ _Maegan, MAEGAN.
And you can follow me at 56Freq, 56Freq with a Q at all platforms.
And Farrell.Kel on Instagram. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as follow at millennialvisionent on Instagram. Till next video, guys. Peace.